welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here in the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. Chris Halicke here. We're chugging along. Aaron Rodgers, 2024. We're now at Week 9. Jets hosting the Texans. I don't remember if it's Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, but it is, it's a Thursday night, I believe, actually. So, big win for the Jets. They beat at the time, 6-2 Texans team, and they beat them 21-13. Shutout in the first half, scored all 21 points in the second half, 14 coming in the fourth quarter. Aaron Rodgers for the game was 22 of 32 for 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Sacked twice for a loss of 18 yards, passer rating of 118.1, and an ESPN QBR of 82.2. So a pretty high game on the QBR standards. PFF gave him a grade of 78.9 with a passing grade of 76.1. 2 big-time throws is what that's what they credited him with, and they also gave him 1 turnover-worthy play. And after going through the film, at least the first time, nothing popped off to me that was like, oh, this is definitely turnover-worthy. So I'm going to be going back through, but I've got 12 of the, I think it was 34 dropbacks in this game, I think it was 34 dropbacks. So we're looking at roughly a little more than a third of the actual plays, but definitely wanted to. And honestly, the big reason why is because this was a very kind of mundane game, especially early on. Lots of quick game with go balls. It was the Steelers' offense with Russell Wilson. A lot of 3 steps, throw, quick game, stick, slants, outs, all this kind of stuff, and then just running goes. There was no intermediate game. This is the first drive. I got the entire first drive lined up for you here, and no shocker here. It's a 3-and-out. But Rodgers gets a snap here. This is the first play of the game. And I guess they're anticipating man coverage. Go ball here to Davante Adams, and it's just overthrown. Now, I don't know how much Rodgers had a say in choosing the first play of the game when it came to scripting. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know. So at that point, it is pure speculation, pure conjecture by anybody. So you can get in the comment section and say, oh, that was definitely Rodgers. He had his fingerprints all over it. You don't know. I don't know. So let's not pretend to know. All I know is that a lot of the time you hear from a lot of quarterbacks, they want rhythm throws to help get them into a rhythm. 3 steps, throw. 5 steps, throw. Whatever it is. And whether it's drop back passing, whether it's quick game passing, no matter what it is, usually quarterbacks want, when it comes to getting the ball or getting into a rhythm and throwing the football, they want rhythm throws. This is not a rhythm throw. This is, Rodgers can get to the back foot, then they can make sure, okay, it's the nice look, but it's also a go ball. It requires a certain level of touch, and it doesn't land here. It's way overthrown, and I don't know if this is just what they planned. Obviously, you have to always assume first series, this was the game plan of how to attack the Texans, and then you can adjust in game based off of what they're showing. That was first down. Second down here, you get Adams moving in motion. You're running smash over here. So you got here, and then this guy's running this. That's the smash concept. He doesn't like it, so he just checks it down. And there's a good reason to not like it. The Texans are not running man here. They're running zone. You got the curl flat defender right there. You got a deep third guy right here. So with the curl flat guy right here, that takes away that hitch. And with this deep third defender going here, this is now cut off, especially with the safety shading over here. And with at that point, just check it down. Now, I would have liked to see possibly instead, because there was a pocket here, and this is kind of where I put it on Rodgers. Look at this just be wide bleeping open. I mean, if you don't check it down, if you look over here and you say, yeah, this is no good, why is it that this is immediately what you go to? I don't know. I don't know. But I would really, really rather try to hit that, because if you do, it might be a touchdown. It's also a gigantic gain, no matter what, if you just read from going over here to going over here. And, we can see from the end zone view, I mean, Rodgers is obviously looking over here. It's not there. And so he just immediately, now, again, we got a clean pocket. You got a clean pocket. If you just glance over here, you're going to see him running down the seam with nobody near him. Instead, it's just check it down. And then it's an incomplete pass. Like, Hall drops it. So, it's failure across the board. Now, I would probably pin this on Rodgers. But again, I don't have the playbook in front of me. On this particular play, is it actually just read smash based off of what the coverage is showing? And then if it's not there, automatically go to the check down. Because when you have, we've talked about this before, when you have these half-field reads, pretty much, based off of where usually, if it's middle field close, you're going over here. If it's middle field open, you're going over here. And based off of the concepts, oh, wait a minute, it might be the other way around. Yeah, I think if they're looking for if it's middle field open, they're looking over here, or either way, no matter what, you're running smash on this side, and I'm not even sure what concept they're running over here. I mean, it's just a quick little hitch, and then you're running this here. This would obviously be good against middle field open, but they are running middle field close, so I kind of understand. But again, at the same time, I don't know a lot of plays in which you only read this side of the field. If this isn't there, if the Texans are disguising, if they're showing like a man coverage look and they're really in zone, and you look over here and you're like, oh crap, it's zone, then if you have enough time, go check over here. That's what I would think. If it's not being taught that way in the meeting room and with the way the offense is installed, then it's all for naught. That's just bad offense. I'd still put this more on Rodgers. He's been around the league long enough to be able to diagnose, oh crap, this is zone, this isn't going to work. I can then go over here. Let me just glance at it because I've got a clean pocket. Instead, it's just hurry up, check it down, which I kind of get. It's 2nd and 10. You don't want to get into 3rd and 10. Let's at least salvage a few yards. I just hate to turn down whatever that was going to be. Then on 3rd down, Texans definitely showing man here, and that's what they're in. And especially with the corners. These guys right here are definitely playing a zone of some kind. It doesn't matter. Rodgers gets to the back foot. He's already under pressure. It doesn't matter. This offensive line is terrible. I don't know if you got this, from the last time. Again, they run 45's running a stunt. Here we go. First 3rd down. The Texans have been watching some Jets tape. You've got how many back in? Is Hall actually in pass protection? Yes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the tight end is also chipping. So you've got 6 in pass protection with the tight end chipping, and you lose against 5. And the main reason why is because You can't pick up a bleeping stunt. And the center right here tries to pass off, can't do it well enough, and then the guard also loses badly, can't block him enough where he can then pass him off to the center. This is just bad. It's bad all around. It's terrible, terrible pass protection. They couldn't. I've seen nothing over the first 9 weeks of the season that's made me think that this offensive line can actually pass protect. That was the first series. That's your game plan. It's terrible. And it was so much of just, again, this first half was ugly. So much of Rodgers, again, you're getting to the back foot, you're making your first read, and it's trying to work the quick game. And all the quick game stuff was out here. This is all they were doing all game long. Quick game here, quick game here. It was a lot of just hitch, quick out, hitch, quick out. That's all it was. That's all they were running. And here, Adams isn't even expecting it. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, this is pretty clearly man coverage across the board. I don't know why Adams is not expecting this at all. This is not the body language of a receiver who is expecting to get a pass thrown his way. Not on the same page with Rodgers. I have no idea what the heck's going on there. Again, like, as I'm going through this, I'm really trying to break down Rodgers' performance, and it's so hard to get a really good read on where he is as a quarterback at age 41 because this offense is so bad. It's just atrocious. The offensive line cannot pass protect. They don't run the football at all. It's such a bad offense. Anyway. Here we go again. This is I think another third down later in the first half. Yeah, we got third down here. Third and about 6? You got 3rd and 6. What are we running here? What's the concept on 3rd and 6? Got this little drift right here. Okay, I'm fine with that, but again, if the defense is going to be in this drop zone where they're going to pretty much line up right here where the first down marker is, they're going to take that away. And then you're running a go here. You're running a go over here. And then this is your option for 3rd and 6 here. You're trying to get 6 yards, and you're running that. Why is that your option on 3rd and 6? Why is that your play call? I don't understand, man. And again, you get the tight end, chipping, and then he's going to be out and be an outlet. You got the running back coming up. He's going to be another outlet here. I think you're just hoping that these defenders are going to sink back far enough because of this drift route, because of the go route, and then where you could possibly hit one of these guys underneath. I'm sorry. That's just bad offense. It's bad offense. I'm not saying you have to call mesh every single time it's 3rd and 6. But man alive, this is just terrible. And then on top of it, you can't pass protect. Rodgers has a dude in his lap immediately. Can't even get to the back foot of his drop, and he's got a dude crashing in on him. Rodgers does spin out, create, and he's like, well, I got to get rid of the ball, and there's nothing. There's no chance he can possibly hit that or possibly hit that. So it's either this, which is covered, this, which is covered, or it's this, which is the most open of all of them, and that's where he goes, and it almost ends up being a catastrophic play. Thankfully for the Jets, Conklin doesn't actually catch this football, because if he catches this, he was also stripped of it, and the Texans would have picked it up and ran it for a touchdown. And they did, but, it was reversed because they called it an incomplete pass. But, I mean, this is... What are we doing here? What is this? It's not pass protection. It's a four-man rush. It's a four-man rush. You even have a tight end chipping. How can 1, 2, 3, 4 guys not block 3 guys? This should not be that hard. I mean, if the center sees that this is right here, he's got to be able to at least peek over here. And I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and try to break down the Jets' protection. All I know is that it's a mess every single week. Every week it's been bad. And good on Rodgers for being able to spin out, get out of there, avoid that, step up. And this was the other thing with Rodgers, and we've seen this throughout the season. When he's under pressure early and often, he gets rattled. Yeah, he's 40. And again, he's not only 40 years old, he's coming off of a major injury, an Achilles injury. Like, he don't want to get hit. Yeah. Just bad. Bad. I think this is still second quarter. This might be third quarter by now. I can't remember. Oh, no, yeah, this is still second quarter. I think this is another third down. Yeah, this is third and long. We got third and 11. Third and 10, something like that. Again, man. Now, I understand this is deeper. Wilson slips, so that doesn't help. These guys are completely covered up. This is your only option right there. And by the time, you could have this outlet too, but again, you've got a guy in back foot hits. He's not got a guy in his lap right away, but there's definitely pressure. That's not a clean pocket. God, dude, this is so bad. The Russian 5. You've got 1, 2, 3. Nope. 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, it's 5, but you also have the tight end chipping. A lot of this is, and the thing is that the guys who end up losing this badly are the guys who are double teaming a guy. They're double teaming. Now I understand this tackle has to make sure that he gets back over here so that he can block him once the tight end peels off. But if you're this tackle, you got to make sure you shove him back so that this guard can get proper leverage. And that doesn't happen. He's backpedaling and barely just gets a hand on him. And then the tackle over here just flat out loses. Can't do anything, man. This is such a bad offense. Second half, things definitely did change. The Jets did try to run the ball a little bit more, and were at least successful doing it. What did they do overall? Let me pull the stats back up. Maybe, if my internet will load. Well, while things are pulling back up for me, let's go on to the next play. Oh, yeah. I remember having this one. This was the only pass completed in between the hashes. Now, that's a very, very small portion of the field. I mean, we're talking like this is an insanely small portion of the field. But this is the only completed pass in this area right there. Helps move the chains, which is good. By the way, 21 carries for 100 yards, 4.8 yards per carry. It was definitely better. No doubt about that. Average nearly 5 yards carry, you'll take it. I'm 21 carries to 34 dropbacks. Like, they relied on quick games so much. And the thing is, defenses continue to from what I remember, defenses continue to pick up on it and then play it as the season goes along. But yeah, this one was to Mike Williams in the middle of the field. I mean, it's, quick 3-step drop. You hit this little, slant to the middle. I think it was like 2nd and 3. They moved the ball. I mean, it was enough to get the first down. You take it at that point. But this is the only all the quick game stuff in this game was all to the numbers or outside the numbers. Very, very little to the middle of the field. And at this point, it's not even like, did Aaron Rodgers turn down the stuff over the middle? No. Like, there were very few concepts that were literally designed. Outside of that one that we saw in the first series, even then, that wasn't his first read. His first read was to read smash on the left, not to read the guy attacking the seam. Oh, God, I don't know. It's... I need a vacation. Next play here. I think this is the first touchdown pass. I think Rodgers is wanting to throw this double move to the outside, and it's there. But Wilson's coming over, and again, this is man coverage. Wilson's coming over here. And Rodgers does a really good job of making sure to just get the ball out. He knows he's going to take a hit, and he really layers a really great throw here. I mean, this is over the reach of the defender. This is the throw he tried to make in last week's game against the Patriots when Davante Adams was running something similar, and he just overthrew him. It was just barely out of his reach. I mean, this is just, again, this is a good... Yeah, he's definitely looking over to Davante. And he can throw it, but listen, the go balls that they were throwing in this game were not working. They weren't landing. It was either, I mean, Davante kind of quasi dropped one earlier in the game. Rodgers overthrew. It wasn't working. And so for Rodgers to turn this down when there was no safety help over the top to his buddy Davante, like that tells you something. Instead, Rodgers is like, nope. Plus, I'm under pressure, so I got to get rid of it. And he's got Garrett Wilson again. This is just a really, really good throw. Over the top, layers it over. I mean, right out of the reach of the defender. That's perfect placement. And Wilson, it's the only place that his receiver could possibly catch it, and Wilson makes a phenomenal one-handed catch. This is where Garrett Wilson's talent really comes into play, which is why if you can figure out the route timing stuff, we're talking about possibly one of the best receivers in the league. He's a phenomenal talent. This is the second half. We did start to see, and it does pay off even better later on. When you run so much, just these hitches or these quick outs. I'm not saying that's what they're running here. But when you run so much of like this kind of stuff, or maybe even like quick little, slants and stuff like that, like when you run so much of this, you can then kind of lull the defense into thinking, this is what they're just going to do all game long. They're just going to try to nickel and dime us to death. And then you can have somebody like Davante Adams do a little jab step to the inside, then cut to the outside, which is what happens. Step to the inside, freezes the corner. Rodgers is already starting to get rid of the ball, so this is complete trust. I mean, the throwing motion starts there, where he's just starting to get out of that initial fake. He gets rid of it, puts it over the top. It's right there. It's a great throw. It's a great route from Adams. And again, that's the one advantage of running. It can be painfully dull to run so much quick game, and if you don't do it efficiently, defenses will keep you bottled up, and that's exactly what happened in the first half. But the Jets then started to kind of pick and choose when to then change things up, throw a change up in there. This was one of them. There's another one later in the game that really works. Great throw from Rodgers here, over the top. Good stuff. They call that incomplete. Oh, no, okay. I was about to say, it was definitely a catch. Next play here. Oh, yeah, I remember why I had this one here. This is just a deep kind of curl right here. Supposed to be right at the first down marker. It was just really, really pleasant. After watching so many weeks of Rodgers and Wilson not being on the same page when it came to timing routes, it was really, really, it was a breath of fresh air to see back foot, Throwing motion started, and Wilson is not even. He's barely to the half. He's barely like halfway to getting to his break, and Rodgers is already starting to throw the football. Ball's out there, and the Wilson's just now about to put on the brakes and stop, and then turn around. And then by the time he turns around, gets right here, the ball is more than halfway there. He gets there, makes the catch. Timing route, perfectly done. Breath of fresh air to see this done. Breath of fresh air, again. And I think one of the reasons why the Jets, to try to put some logic behind so much quick game in this game, the Texans were really good at getting after the quarterback. They ended up, I think, with I looked it up, they were like tied for fourth most sacks in the league last year. Like, they were really good at getting after the quarterback. So let's not forget that. And this offensive line is pretty pathetic. It looks good here, but this offensive line in general is pretty pathetic. And so you want to keep your 40-year-old quarterback upright, who's going to be turning 41 in less than 2 months at this point. Yeah. That might be the logic. It's just painful to watch sometimes because it's very, very little imagination. It was good to see that. Second touchdown pass here. We only got 2 left. I got the last 2 touchdowns as the last 2 plays because, again, everything else was just quick game stuff. Everything. Rodgers attempted 6 passes in this game that were more than 10 yards downfield. 6 out of 32 pass attempts. The entire game plan was quick game, whether it be stick or lions or dragon or whatever the concepts were. All quick game stuff and all outside the numbers, or to the numbers at least. Very, very little over the middle of the field. This was as if the Steelers dressed up in Jets uniforms with Russell Wilson at quarterback and they played offense. Jets just running, again, cover 4 here from the Texans. You can always tell usually by this umbrella here. The corners on the outside are reading the number 1s on each side. The safeties are reading the number 2. If the number 2 runs at them, they go with them. If the number 2 breaks off and goes to the middle, they crash down. That's called cover 4 match or match quarters. Because once these receivers run straight at a corner, it becomes man coverage at that point. So again, if you don't know cover 4 is zone coverage with man principles. It's becoming a more and more used coverage, and I'd like to see the Steelers use more of it because it's becoming more and more relevant. You can see here the number 2 on this side is the running back, so the safety is pretty much just going to crash down here. But that also means no safety over the top, which means you pretty much have one-on-one downfield with Garrett Wilson. And Rodgers puts up a pretty decent ball, not a great ball. And then Garrett Wilson, for those of you who remember, makes probably one of the greatest catches ever made. Reaches back. I mean, that posture right there, gets the left foot down, and then right at the last second, gets the right foot down or left knee down. I can't remember how it was. But either way, it was a phenomenal. They called it incomplete initially. You can see the referee there calls it incomplete. They did review it and called it complete. The throw from Rodgers again, it didn't have to be great at this point. You're just throwing it up and letting your receiver make a play. This is phenomenal. Yeah, left foot, and then I think it's left knee. It's got to be either left knee or that right foot gets down before the left knee hits out of bounds. And that's what I'm thinking. I think it was left knee, because once a knee gets down, it counts as 2 feet. Even if the left foot was the first thing to get down, if the left knee is then the next thing to get down, it's in bounds because one knee, doesn't matter which side it is, counts as 2 feet. And as we know from a couple of George Pickens plays last year, you can't put the same foot down twice. It doesn't count as 2 feet. But one knee does count as 2 feet. Either way, phenomenal catch by Garrett Wilson. So you guys remember smash from earlier in the game. So the Jets are running this again here. Adams is running this. Again, when you run so much quick game, and then you also have the combination of, listen, this guy just made the highlight of the season. Passing strength is on this side, yet the safety is shading over Garrett Wilson. That's interesting. Typically, when you are in a straight-up cover one situation, the safety will shade over the passing strength. But every defense is taught differently. And maybe it's because Garrett Wilson, maybe they just like, no, we're going to trust our guys over here, and we're going to shade our safety over the top where the X is. And on this play, Garrett Wilson is the X. And again, Jets run smash. Adams is running this. And when you run so much, smash is a really, really good changeup for when you run so much quick game. Again, you're lulling the defense into this. We're just going to run nothing but hitches and outs and slants and stick and all this quick game stuff. And then you just out of nowhere, especially whenever this guy runs a quick little hitch, and then this guy just goes. It works. Adams, again, he burns his guy. Because the safety was shading too far over here, he cannot get over the top quickly enough. Rodgers puts a great ball on him, and it's a touchdown. I mean, and here, again, the other great thing with smash is it almost doesn't matter. The offensive line has to be good for about a second and a half, and that's about as long as they were good for. Because Rodgers even throwing off of his back foot because he already has a dude in his lap. Again, whenever you have, I mean, this is what, a 6-man rush? And it's a 6-man protection, so it's literally one-on-one here. Great ball. Right over the top. Perfectly done. Perfectly executed. Really good play call. Again, I don't like this offense whatsoever, but even some of the worst offenses in the league can make some phenomenal play calls in big moments. And that's exactly what they did here. So anyway, that's it for this one. We'll be back tomorrow. Week 10 is what we're going to be looking at. That was, so this was a big win. And then next week, week 10, they've played the Cardinals on the road. So we'll take a look at that. So until then, catch you guys on the Flippity Flip. See you later.